I'm going to be walking through how I passed the plumbing rough-in inspection for this bathroom. So we are turning two closets into a single bathroom, and the inspector was just here. We passed, and I'm walking through my lessons learned. So right now what's happening is we're doing this thing called the hydrostatic test. And what that means is on each stub out of the drain lines for my water closet, also known as toilet, for my lavatory, also known as the sink, and the P-trap on where my shower pan's gonna go, we have these mechanical test caps right here. So these just screw into the inside of the ABS pipes, and you go up on the roof and you fill up the dry vent all the way to the top with water. And basically when the inspector shows up, they'll look at the water level, and then they come back 15 minutes later and it should be at the same height that it is when they first checked it, and you'll see it leaking if it is. So if at any one of these joints you had, this could be PVC or ABS, if water's leaking out, the water level at the inside of your dry vent up on the roof will be decreasing, and they'll be able to see it. So that'll be a fail. And then the other thing is they want to see that you have gauges on your water supply lines so that they can confirm that you're at least at street pressure. So, if you did have a leak in your hot or your cold lines, they'd be able to see that too. And the other thing is there's a minimum diameter for piping that you can use. So for a water closet toilet, I'm going with 4-inch ABS, but we could have downsized this to 3. I personally wanted to have the peace of mind that, we're minimizing the chances of clogs. So we went 4-inch, but it's entirely up to you. There's also requirements on how far this has to be from your finished wall. So in our case, 15 inches is the minimum, and I just said I'll call the drywall plus whatever tiling we might add to it 1 inch. So this is 16 inches off this, and then this guy, again, if I assume my finished wall will be 1 inch, so this is 12 inches is the minimum off the finished wall. So if you add that additional inch, that's how you get to 13 for that. There is a requirement for the height that your drain line needs to be for your lavatory. There's also a required minimum slope, so 1/4 inch per foot. And on these levels, they do have markings on them, so you can buy the right level. It'll tell you, how much you need to slope it to get to that. So when the tip of that bubble is at 1/4 inch, that's how you know you're good. These are stud guards, and so every time you have a pipe or a supply line or an electrical line going through the wall, if it's closer than 1.25 inches from the stud going this way, so like in this case, that's not even, a quarter or half of an inch, you need to have a stud guard here, because when people go to put in your sheetrock, they're not going to know where all these lines are. And so if someone screwed a line through that, they'd hit your drain line, you'd have a leak, and so that would be a big problem. So that's the reason why you're required to have those. In addition, the IRC requires you to have stud guards for stuff like this, where we're going through our top plate, and it needs to extend at least 2 additional inches below your top plate. So that's the reason why I need 3 here, not just the one up top there. Otherwise, it would be a fail. The other thing is, this is only a single-story house, but if we were on a multi-story house, you do need to have pipe strapping for your dry vents that are going up like this. So that's another thing that the inspectors look for. And yeah, so the other thing is the inspector, when they're here, in my case I have a crawl space, so they couldn't walk into the basement to inspect this stuff. So I had to cut out these slats in my subfloor, so that when the inspector was here, I just literally took these out so they could look underneath here and see the diameters of all these pipes. So your shower pipe has to be at least 2 inches, and you can get away with 1.5 inches on the sink, but in my case I just went with 2 inches, because you can always go above and beyond what's required and just make your life a little bit less likely to have clogs. So might as well do it now while you have easy access to everything. If you are wet venting, which in my case I was, you need to have 2-inch pipes all the way. So that's the reason why that's a 2-inch pipe. And yeah, so that's where we're at in terms of next steps here. The inspector told me I can now do my flooring and So I'm going to be putting down tar paper and mortar and setting my shower pan, and then connecting up the P-trap to my actual shower drain. And then we're going to be adding in electrical lines and the vent, because in my case I don't have a window in here, so I need to do that part, which is called mechanical. So doing all that stuff. But yeah, so I hope this video helps if you are getting ready to do an inspection, and take it easy.